to today's session. We are going to be looking at gratitude, or an appreciation of life. So with this, I don't think it really needs much of an explanation. Why do we do this? We do this so that we perhaps realize that the negative patterns that might be swirling around in our heads aren't necessarily true. Well, they aren't true. That's not the reality. And it's just a nice way to start the day to, think about. So especially today's a grey morning. I don't feel well. I didn't really want to get out of bed. I have a lot to do today because a friend of mine is coming at some point today. And so it's just a nice way to, start the day. Despite how I might be feeling, there's always something that we can appreciate in life. Okay. So let's just move the body around. And make whatever movements feel good for you. Stretching, maybe shake the legs out a little bit. Okay. So finding your meditation stance, whatever that is, either it's lying down or in a chair or sat up, but we want a long spine so we can allow the breath to move freely throughout the torso. We don't want to feel as if we're, the breath is restricted at all. So if we're slouched down, it's hard to expand the stomach, even if we're slouched down on the sofa or something. So we want to make sure the spine is long. Closing the eyes or finding a gentle gaze. And imagining an open space that's high above, overlooking something. Whether it's overlooking a body of water, mountains, a village, or a city. Picturing what's inside that space. The only thing is that there are no people. Nobody to judge us, including our own minds. It's a safe place where we can expand our thinking. Beginning to deepen the inhale as the belly comes away from the spine. Exhale, allowing it to fall towards the spine. Making sure that we empty out all of the old, stale energy and air. Deepening each inhale so we really feel it throughout the whole torso, from the stomach up to the shoulders. Lengthening the exhale, so we feel as we've got no more breath left to give, maybe even pausing at the end. As we inhale, a white light of gratitude, of love and compassion. The definition of love in this case, wishing happiness for all beings. Exhaling out a black cloud of smoke of any disturbing or unpleasant thoughts or emotions. And allowing any sounds that might be around or that you can hear through the background where I'm speaking from, just allowing them to gently sink into the background. We don't need to place judgment on them. They're simply there. Inhaling the white cloud of gratitude, love, and compassion. Exhaling a black cloud of smoke with disturbed thoughts and feelings. To generate compassion for all beings, I'm going to recite the 4 measurables. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be dissociated from the supreme happiness, which is without suffering. May they remain in boundless equanimity, free from attachment to close ones and rejection of others. And if birds make an appearance in your open space, then I guess this little bird war that's happening outside my window is fitting nicely into your space. And remembering that we're keeping an open, non-judgmental mind. How do I think about myself? What is my life like? My personality, my abilities, and my achievements? Again, be honest. Nobody's listening. You never have to report this to anybody. Do I have a feeling of inferiority, disappointment, hopelessness, or do I feel good? Both ways are completely acceptable. We are feeling how we are feeling, and there's no need to focus on changing that right now. Not necessarily not changing it, but not judging it. We don't need to beat ourselves up for feeling a certain way. And that can include feeling happy when others are maybe suffering or there's been a death or something, you know. Sometimes people don't think we're allowed to feel happy during sad times, but actually we are. Remember previous times of depression or disappointment and decide that you want to get rid of these dark feelings. So sometimes they have a tendency to linger and we want to get rid of them, just to let them go in the background. We don't want them to come back for long periods of time. And how are most other people on this earth doing? They're suffering from hunger, war, sickness, fear, repression. I think given the current certain political stance, that clearly is something that we are able to very much visualize right now, that most people on this earth are suffering. People in poverty-stricken countries where there's little food, war-torn countries. I'd say, I don't know, honestly, but I'd say there's probably more people suffering from countries like that than people not. What chances do most people have to get happiness? And by that, it's you have to think about the definition of happiness. So the Buddha's definition of happiness has nothing to do with material possessions. You know, happiness is much easier to get when physically we feel well, when physically we have the energy, when we have what we like to think is, you know, physical boundaried freedom or movement or respect from other people. But also, there's the happiness which is the education to change our mind frame, to have a healthy mind. So instead of focus more on the material possessions, we're focusing on what chances do most people have to get happiness, to have this education, to go on Facebook and do live meditation such as this, or educate from Buddhism or other different religions that might help people be happy. Spend a moment imagining yourself in some of these situations. So you are sick, you are in a war, or desperate with hunger. This is to help generate compassion. And knowing that some people are in that situation where they're suffering greatly, remember the positive sides of your life. So what's happy, what's going well for you right now? What kind of country do you live in? Is it war-torn? Is it full of poverty and hunger? So appreciating what we have in front of us right now, even though things are not perfect. They never will be. Ask yourself the question, what could I do with my life? Positively. So could I travel? Do I have the option to travel, to work, to study, to do something to enjoy yourself? I mean, how many countries have I traveled to and they didn't understand why I was there because they have never been able to take a holiday. They don't have the money, so they have to work 7 days a week. And here we are complaining about getting 2 weeks holiday or 30 days holiday, you know? And with all these nice things that we could do with our life, does it really make you happy? To ask yourself that, does it really make you happy? And if you've never had these things and you think that it would, coming from experience, it doesn't. I was in a job that paid comfortably and I was very unhappy with it. I've been in jobs that pay me more than comfortably and I've been unhappy with it. So it's about, you know, then there's people on the flip side that they don't even have the opportunities to get a job. So those things don't make somebody happy. And the amount of traveling that I've done, whether it's through work or on my own dollar after saving money, I've spent many times crying in a church because I always feel like that's the most appropriate place. You know, and people would kill, even my friends and family would kill to go, not literally kill, but you know, would do almost anything to get to where I am, and I'm sat there miserable. So is the happiness the amount of my possessions or the amount of memories of my travel? Is it simply a state of mind? Probably the times that I've had the least. I had a period where we weren't making money, so I didn't eat regularly. I didn't eat 3 meals a day. I was constantly sick. But I was very grateful for what I did have because I had very little. It was a state of mind. It wasn't what I had in front of me. It was a state of mind. We can always choose happiness because it's inside of the head. It's not anywhere else. So before we finish the meditation, resolve to be a bit more happy and satisfied with what you have and who you are. And again, this is something that we don't often do. So if you are sitting here, and even if you're not sitting in meditation, if you're just simply watching, it doesn't matter. You know, we're taking some time. You probably thought of something that was good. And we very rarely are given this time. So be grateful, you know, just even if today and right now, this moment is the only time you say, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be satisfied and grateful for what I have and who I am. That's it. That's great. It's one thing. You have to start somewhere, you know, to start here and now. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what's going to happen tomorrow. Just stop complaining. There's always sunshine somewhere, whether it's behind the clouds or in another part of the world. Spending another minute being grateful and appreciating who we are at this moment and what we have in front of us. And how grateful we are, because not everybody in the world has what we have. Breathing in deeply, filling the torso, the rib cage, the chest, the shoulders. Exhaling out any remaining negativities or unpleasant thoughts or emotions. And placing the rucksack on our back. Not placing it on our back, putting it in front of us. And placing a tool or a learning lesson from today's meditation that we might want to carry on to so that we can look at later or remember later. Placing that on our backs. And remembering that at any point in the day we can close our eyes and spend 3 seconds remembering something we're grateful for. Especially when we're thinking, oh my God, I just want this to be over, or some negative complaint that's going on in our head. Just about 1 second, 2 seconds. And with this attitude and the rucksack on our back, keeping the eyes closed, but visually walking into whatever reality is in front of us today. Noticing the sounds around the room, maybe any smells, the feel of whatever body part is on, whatever you're resting on. Gently opening the eyes and becoming visually aware of the space that you're in. Maybe noticing how the body is feeling, if it feels any different or maybe it doesn't. Both options are okay. And dedicating this practice to somebody who might need it today. So somebody who may be suffering quite a lot or is unable to see what they appreciate in their life. Or maybe there's a higher power that you would like to dedicate this practice. And I thank you very much for joining my meditation this morning. Tomorrow I will be